Just tell, what's your position, first of all, on the protocol? Because I was in Northern Ireland in August, and people, broadly speaking, fell into two categories. There's people who are against it because they feel it denigrates their feeling of Britishness because it puts a border in the Irish Sea, or there's people who look at it in a practical way and the implications that it has for business, which could be good or bad.
Yeah, well, we look at it purely from a farming perspective, and what we've said right from the start is this needs radical reform or being radical renovations. This protocol is not working for many areas of our industry.
Victor, I know that you gave evidence, didn't you, a little bit earlier in the year to the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee, which was about your own experience and that of other farmers on the implementation of the protocol. What was your evidence? You know, what has been your lived experience? And do you feel as though the politicians are listening to that evidence?
Well, we get listened to, but it's a case of, I suppose, the N-words at the minute, blah, 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 and no action. Really, we have the same issue. Our seed potato farmers can't get their nucleus stock in from Scotland. Our animals can't move freely between Northern Ireland and Scotland in our internal market. Our plant protection products, the EU regulation doesn't cover us, nor does the UK. Animal medicines is the same. An issue that come up is a divergence on rules on organic poultry and our organic eggs. Now our packers are faced with the choice either supply the GB market or their own market in Northern Ireland and ROI. Our products that go to the south for further processing are now getting the label on them mixed origin, even though they are produced to EU standards. So there is elements of this that's not working. There's elements of the protocol that is working for us. But there is elements that need sorted, and there is solutions to all of these. But all we seem to hear is this blah blah blah, and we can't get the solutions over the line.
Who's the blah 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 coming from, Victor? Where do you think this needs to be resolved? Is it both sides or one side?
Both sides. Both sides. I'm not going to apportionate blame to either side. We need to sit down and make this work. We were promised the best of both worlds in Northern Ireland. That's how the protocol was sold to us. And in some instances, we're in no man's land.
Yeah. It's so difficult, isn't it? And if you feel like the political will isn't there, then you're stuck, as you say, in this kind of purgatory that never ends. You say there are some perfectly legitimate solutions that are workable from your perspective. You say that you've given evidence that these aren't being implemented. Give us examples of what you think could change in a very easy way.
Well, for instance, I'll take live animals. We have a system, an APHIS system in Northern Ireland that every animal is located and we know exactly where it is. So it's of no risk to enter in the EU single market. So why on earth these draconian rules are made that we can't, if we take an animal over to sell it in the UK, for some reason it doesn't get sold at 6 months before we can get it back home. That's just pure ludicrous. It could come home on the day and have that 6-month restriction applied to it under our APHIS system, our registration system, that it couldn't move on into the south. Anything that comes to a farm address in single issue, be it machinery parts or be it other things, there should be no risk to the single market. We are finding that people are finding it too hard and machinery parts are slow to come. When a machine breaks down, you need that part the next day, not a fortnight later. So there is things that could be ironed out. That mixed origin, we could be, say there's a third of our milk goes south. A lot of it's made into powder to go to African and Asian markets. We don't need a mixed origin label on that. It could be said produce of the island of Ireland, produced to EU rules to get over that. You know, there is solutions around all this. Our plant protection products and our animal medicines. You know, either or, if those products were okay to use in either or the UK or the EU, we should be available to them here. Northern Ireland's too small a place to get those authorisations of their own, so the companies just simply walk away. and leave us with no options.
Victor, just to go through what the EU is currently proposing at the moment, most food products will not need to be physically checked when arriving in Northern Ireland from Great Britain, a cut to the paperwork for Northern Ireland importers, expanded trusted trader arrangements, meaning more products and companies are exempt from tariffs, and changes to current laws to ensure no disruption to moving medicines across the Irish Sea. I don't know whether this is right or not, but are they also proposing changes to some sort of agricultural agreement as well?
Well, we have had some movement on scrapie movement for sheep, and there's a derogation passed there, which we think may well start free movement of sheep up again, which was a trade that has went on for a long number of years, maybe 40, 50 years. A lot of those other regulations apply to foodstuffs coming into NI. We're an exporting region, and we have had extra costs put on, but I didn't say all of the protocol was bad. Our produce is moving to GB and is moving south of the border, so that we need to keep. But we need to free up and take some cost out of the system. But really, on these small issues, the problem is if either the EU or the UK diverge in the future, then we're stuck in no man's land, and we need some sort of overarching agreement that we can operate in with either rules rather than be blocked completely out because if either side diverges.
Victor, just wondering, we're told by the government that Brexit is done. Do you think it's done from your perspective?
Well, it's certainly not done if you're selling pedigree bulls across the water. There's sales 17, 18 and 19. I'm just pick a particular bull sale across the water. There was about 120 bulls from 45 exhibitors. Last year there was 4 bulls from 3 exhibitors and hardly any going across the water. So that trade has finished for us. So if Brexit is done, it hasn't worked for Northern Ireland for some of our sectors.
The finger on the buzzer is sort of hovering, isn't it, by Lord Frost on invoking Article 16. Brendan Lewis, Northern Ireland Secretary, saying that it is not inevitable that will happen. Those talks ongoing. Victor Chestnut, really good to get you on this morning.